This is being recorded with a different microphone, so disregard that. I know it's going to sound different. Anyways, so I want to say it was a year ago, I made a video on this crit explosion fishing hook. Still 106. And then maybe, I think it was a month ago, I made a video on the SuperSonic slasher. This one actually I've maxed out because I had so much fun playing with this one that I figured that I wanted it maxed out. The only problem with this is there is no attack speed, so it is quite slow. And of course, this video is about the Argon Axe. I couldn't find it for a second. I have this one maxed out actually, and the Argon Axe is, I want to say it's different than a lot of the other weapons with crit hit explosion, and there's actually a pretty good reason for that. Unlike every other melee weapon in the game, whether it has critical hits explosion or not, the Argon Axe has a base 30% critical rating, or a critical chance here. Mine is 75 because I have Whiteout Fiona as my commander at the moment. But on screen now, I'm going to throw up this really high budget chart that I made very, very quickly, kind of show this. And I mean, this is just comparing other axe melees based on their base critical chance or critical rating. The numbers are actually just pulled from collection book copies of the weapons. My loadout is Whiteout Fiona. Whiteout Fiona to increase the critical rating of swords, axes, and scythes by 45. This is a huge difference for critical hit explosion melee weapons. Blast from the Past, this is mainly just so I can have a lot of health, and I have Saurian Claws and Saurian Hide to activate that. I mean, if you wanted to, you can run Totally Rockin' Out, and you would get a lot more explosions with that, but at the same time, you would also have a lot less health. And when playing high-level missions, that can be a big risk. I have Assassination just as a kind of melee buff, and I have Shredder. Even though I'm not using Totally Rockin' Out, I can still get the effects of Rock and Riff, which increases my weapon damage and attack speed. For melee weapons, attack speed is always highly appreciated. And this actually made a big difference with the Supersonic Slasher, I believe, where by having a higher attack speed, it kind of substituted for the weapon not having an attack speed perk. I have Survivalist on this build. You can switch to, is it, why am I looking at Outlanders? Oh, wait. Yeah, you can switch to Coconuts if you would prefer Coconuts. However, as I intended on playing Encampments, I figured I wouldn't be spending a whole lot of time searching things. You can also switch to Monster Smash. However, this is one of those weird perks where I see it on melee builds a lot, and I still don't understand how it works. So it increases the life leech with melee attacks and going Constructor by 15% based on your percentage of missing health. But how does anyone know how this applies whether if your melee weapon doesn't have a life leech perk? Does that actually still work like that? Because I've been told yes and I've been told no. So I don't have a concrete answer. So I'm just gonna kind of stop using it until I figure out whether how it works actually. So regardless, survivalist. I have Adrenaline Rush and stationary hover turrets, mostly to help with encampments, and Adrenaline Rush to heal myself in a quick notice. Otherwise, I do have healing pads and campfires and all that. Alright, first things first, I'm gonna actually grab my Argon Axe, which in game it has 75 to 75 on crit chance and damage, with a 0.69 attack speed. I'm not gonna make a funny joke about that, I swear. Let's hope my 90 ping won't be a problem later. First encampments. And see, with Rock and Rift active from Dennis Jr. and support, this did still make a pretty big difference to my crits, feel like, but I don't think it does. I don't know, I did this thing where I kind of just forgot what he did exactly after reading it. Smasher over here, so let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, that took 15 hits, and I'm going to try to take note of that, because, I don't know. I want to let the enemies kind of crowd up around me. because crit explosions is like an area of effect thing too, so I can damage the enemies around me. Please don't go to the encampment zone. Thank you. Throwing up a horde turret. Let's see. As usual with melee weapon stuff, I'm not really using the heavy attack much, and the reason for that is, as far as I'm aware, there's not that much of a damage difference, and even if it is like a difference on your total damage, I don't think it's worth slowing down your attacks over it. I mean, it can be fun every once in a while, especially in lower level zones, but when you reach the point where the enemies are just sponging damage, you don't really want to slow down your attacks. Nice. All three of the first enemies, crit explosion on them first. Got this crowd of small enemies just erased in 2 hits. I'm just erasing enemies here. Where? Thank you. Of course they're going after this random animal here, so how about I just deal with that for them as well? You can stop slowing me down. And you could die. And that's 3 encampments done. Nice. And the next one is, of course, on the other side of the map here. I'll see how this will do. It's perfect. Wait, wrong weapon. My Walbert doesn't crit explosion. That noise was so many lobbers, and they're all just out of the encampment zone, almost. I mean, they can do it, I think. Oh, that's perfect. That was also kind of perfect. I don't know why I did that. With Rock and Riff from Dennis Jr., my support activating, I am getting a lot higher attack speed, which is really good for melee weapons, as I talked about earlier in the video. Ow. I'll jump over these shields. Just let me get over you, please. Just let me kill you. I don't know why they resist so much. I'll take some nuts and bolts. More shielded enemies, so let's try... want to make them a bit weaker. That was perfect. Oh yeah, you're not going to die from that. Please die. Throwing up a hover turret. And Let's see. Really? Dude, come on. Not now. Get back over here, you idiot. Thank you. But there's still something else that I want to try. There's Survivor over here. Don't worry, I'll save you. Dragon Slash to just get myself into the crowd. You're safe. So the next thing that I want to try is Whiteout Fiona. Or I'm playing as Whiteout Fiona. I'm an idiot. Hold on. Next thing I want to try is Paleo Luna. Considering that my recent video, well, relatively recent, on the Husk Cleaver sword, I made this idiotic mistake with it, which I still find really funny. Considering I made a mistake with that and for some reason used Whiteout Fiona in the lead, which realistically made no sense, but I guess at the time I didn't think. I still can't think of a good reason why I did that. Ended up making it. I kind of ended up remaking that video using a Paleo Luna build instead, based on some very useful advice from someone in the comments. I talked about it in that video. But regardless, I want to try kind of the same thing, except with Paleo Luna. In theory, I think I'm going to be doing more damage, but at the cost of less crits. But I guess I'll find out when I do that. Right? So I did a little bit of research on Arleen, Izza, and the Monster Smash standard perk. I kind of just watched someone else's video on this, and as RoundedTikTak said, and I'll pull up the exact quote that I wrote down from him, you're doing 15% life leech based on the damage you're hitting for. So I guess in theory, so if Paleo Luna hits for a large amount of damage, then you're gaining 15% of the damage that you deal back as health, which actually does sound really good. So I'm going to put that on for the Paleo Luna version of this build instead of using Survivalist. Here is pretty much the same loadout, except I changed. I added Saurian Focus so I could Paleo Luna in the lead. I don't actually know how much of a difference that's gonna make. I think it's actually just gonna be nothing unless I switch to one of the other dinosaur heroes that's not Rex, because this will not benefit melee weapons as it is for range weapons. So I can add something else for more health, but I'm not sure if that's what I want. So I'm just gonna leave that there. I put Whiteout Fiona in the lead just because I did not put her in the lead. I put her in support because without her, you basically lose out on some of your crit rating. And with a weapon that relies a lot on crit rating to deal for the 6th perk to activate, you kind of want to be able to hit enemies for some crits. I still have Shredder in my support team because I like the increased damage and melee attack speed. Kind of just makes a big difference, specifically for axes, might I add. And of course, Monster Smash, because now that I understand how this perk works, I want to use it. Actually, before I get into any fighting, I kind of want to check. Wow, actually, that is not that much of a difference. I was expecting a lot more for some reason. So as Whiteout, it was a 15% crit hit chance or no, it's 75 crit hit chance and 75 crit hit damage. As Paleo Luna, it is 65.5 chance and 75% damage still. Not as big as a difference than I was expecting. But then again, I suppose I don't even know what I was expecting. I didn't mean to do that. I thought she had ninja stars. I keep making that mistake. Damn. That is actually a big difference. I want to try to keep an eye on my health gain. Because I am hitting for what looks like a pretty significant amount. onto the second encampment, and immediately Rock and Riff is active, and I'm still critting like just about as much as I was hoping I would do, but I did not think I would do this much. And there's another smasher, so that's only very beneficial to my my everything here. There's Rock and Riff active for a moment there, and I thought I had throwing stars again. Jesus Christ, that was chaotic. There's all these projectiles coming from places that I can't see. That should not have hit me. I disagree with the fact that that hit me, but I killed him, so I guess it's fair now. Can't see where any of these lobbers are because they're all hiding in little holes somewhere. Die. Idiot. I don't know, one of my main problems with encampments is how they spawn enemies so far away, and yet they're always ranged enemies that will just keep hitting you, but you can't see them. Because they're so far away and you're focused on the main enemies that are around you. Don't think you're free from this lobber. Okay, 2 of 5. Ow. Didn't say you could do that. Yeah, when I actually explode, seems like I'm doing a lot of health regeneration. Except for when there's lobbers 7.5 tiles away from the encampment throwing and dealing infinite damage. Yeah, that was a lot of health all in one, but I think it's because I cleared that entire crowd. So now I'm starting to actually understand Arleen Izza's perk a bit more than I did. So it's like because I'm literally instant killing like all these enemies like this, I'm gaining, I think it was 15% health from all of them based on the damage that I'm dealing with the weapon. I don't know, maybe I'm still misunderstanding it. Just die. Didn't say you could hit me. Just die, please. Thank you. Took long enough. Just destroying the crowd here. Some of these things here. It doesn't even matter what they're doing. I'm just destroying them so easily. If only Luna had throwing stars. That's a perfect stream of just nature husks to clear. Let's get away from the propane. Let's still get damaged by it despite being away from it. He died before I hit him. So, I mean, I know it's kind of almost like making no sense that I test both Whiteout Fiona and Paleo Luna here, but my reasoning is I just want to see the difference because while Paleo Luna or no, while Whiteout Fiona will offer more critical chance or critical rating, Paleo Luna actually does still offer more damage to my understanding, especially considering the weapon attack speed. With gameplay of both of these heroes and their respective loadouts done, I actually found that personally I preferred the Paleo Luna loadout only because I was doing a lot more damage with the weapon itself, especially when not critting. With Whiteout Fiona, crits were more, but not by that much. It's Whiteout Fiona was 75% with Paleo Luna being 65.5. So the difference is not that noticeable. It is also something worth mentioning that I had Whiteout Fiona in support for the Luna build. So there was that 15 extra crit rating added on. So I would imagine that makes a noticeable difference with Luna in the commander slot. I also think Whiteout Fiona build that I used earlier would have survived more if I had Arleen Izza in support for that one instead of Survivalist. However, I didn't actually know how that one worked, or I didn't know how that perk actually worked or functioned until after recording that section before getting into Paleo Luna section. So yeah, just kind of disregarding that.